All right, we are live right now. Okay, so we're gonna let everyone stream in. We're going to chat for a little bit. Hi, everyone. I'm Kathy. I've got Fausto, who's a very old friend of mine that we've known each other for, I think, at least 2 decades, if not longer. I basically measure everything on whether I've met you before or after I met my husband. So I've been with my husband for over 20 years. So I know I met you before I met my husband. Yes. So it's an easy metric for me since it's double digits. But I'm really excited to have you today, Fausto, to speak to my audience. We're going to be streaming on X. We're going to be streaming on YouTube. So we'll give everyone an opportunity to come in. And I know that my audience, they are always interested in learning how to day trade stocks. Do you day trade indices as well, Fausto?
We trade some indices too. Absolutely. We trade a lot of the ETFs too, because what's happening, that Kathy, a lot of these stocks now, they have their own ETFs too, which is kind of weird because people didn't even know that. So we're doing a lot of that too, indices also, but it's all about what I kind of really teach, and more or less just looking at the right of the chart is by following those orders and just looking at the left of all those indicators. So it's not going to really change too much of someone's style. It's just going to let them know about that crystal ball they always thought about, like where's those orders? But that's really where it comes out to.
Would you say that your technique is very similar or basically is the smart money trading concept?
Well, I was a market maker, so that's basically, yes, that's basically the style that I really preach upon. And really, some people don't realize this, Kathy, but this technology has been around for about 50 years now. It's like when you ask somebody, how long has AI been around for? And they're like, they just started hearing about it. It's been around for forever. So yes, so the style of following the high frequency trades, all the algorithms, all that stuff is pretty much the same.
So I find this really interesting because smart money trading is a very popular way to trade stocks as well as indices these days. And I don't know if this is your experience, Fausto, but speaking to the general community, a lot of people, and for those of you that are watching live right now, let me know if you agree that this is true, where a lot of people only started trading in the last 3 or 4 years. And so this smart money concept is relatively new to them. And I think this is important because, especially for those of you that are watching this on demand, Fausto has been doing the smart money trading concept strategy for, I would guess, at least 3 decades. If we've known us for 2 decades, at least
35
3
years.
decades. Yeah, so at least 3 decades. So he really understands it inside out, and isn't really one of these, Lamborghini driving 20-year-old influencers who are just piggybacking and not truly understanding the way the market works. Whereas Fausto, and all of you have the benefit of learning from him today, was a market maker. And he knows these flows intimately. And he, was there making these flows. So I think his explanation of how to translate the smart money concept into a trading strategy, being on the floor, is going to be valuable for everyone. And that you're not listening to someone who also has only started trading the last 3 or 5 years, or maybe the last 2 years, and only found success because the market's been, in one direction. Mm-hmm. So I think, there's a lot of really valuable things that Fausto is going to share that is in line with what a lot of people are learning to do right now, and what's popular in general, which is smart money trading. So that is part of the reason why I'm so delighted to have, you join us today. So now in terms, Fausto, in terms of the time frame that you trade, because we have people from all around the world, what times of day do you find yourself trading?
Well, a couple of things before I get into that question. I love what you just mentioned earlier, is that you just mentioned like influencers, and I think a lot of people have to understand is like, Kathy, you and I have been through the worst of the worst, and you have to fail before you could succeed. Some people just came in around COVID time, so they don't know what it experienced. They just got involved, just recently, maybe saw a little hiccup in the market, when, Liberation Day, you know what I mean? And saw the market. So they probably felt a little bit and know that, but that's how you really learn. And and the smart money, is where you kind of teach someone where you just got to follow where the big block orders are. I mean, you've been there, you've done it. We worked together. We worked at some of the biggest brokerage firms. And it's, even though just being more of an analyst that you were back then and stuff, that being a trader, you realize like, listen, it's the trading department that runs the market. You could have the greatest news in the world. Doesn't really matter. If they're dumping it, whatever, like there's a bunch of stocks today, which I'm looking forward to show people, like the nuclear stocks and all those. There's been a lot of short squeezes going on. People are like, how do I know I'm in one? I'm going to show you to you. It's very easy, but that's where that comes in. But yeah, and that's what I'm really excited about to be here today, because what you're about to show you too, you could apply towards anything. I do it on cryptocurrency. I'm going to show you on Bitcoin. You could see it on futures. I mean, it's all about just seeing a one side of the chart. And I'm going to show you basically how to use like the technology of how you can get it right from NASDAQ. Back then when I started, you had to pay, thousands of dollars. Now you get it for like $15, and you don't have to have a seat on New York Stock Exchange anymore. Now they're giving it to you. And that's what's so exciting. And like you said, some people are new to this and are just finding out about it now, but it's never too late, Kathy. That's the beauty about it,
That's really true. Would you say, before I turn the floor to you, would you say that this is more suited for day traders or swing traders?
Everything. I do a lot more. I actually learned how to be a better swing trader and an investor today. I'm actually doing more today than I did ever in my life. Even though like back in the past, I made, like my accountant forced me, hey, you got to put money in your IRA. You got to put money in your IRA. And I'm like, okay, but I'm a day trader. I don't trust other people. You know what I mean? And it worked out for me. But now I'm getting to the point where I've learned how to become a better investor and swing trader, because you need to know. And you got to remember this, Kathy, and the listeners are going to have to understand this. It's what happens over the course of the day which trickles in to become a swing trade or like an option. Like people always ask me, they do things backwards, Kathy. They're like, they start off with options. Like I try to explain to them, what makes an option move? It's the movement of the stock. You want to be a good option trader? Be a good stock trader first, and then you'll know how to trade an option. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to be negative about those. It's like, oh, why am I trading options? Well, listen, if you know what happens over the course of the day, then you'll know how to swing trade, and then you'll know how to option trade. And that's how that
goes. Is very, very true. And I think no one looks at it. Very few people, I can't say no one looks at it that way, where they look at and translating what you're saying, the day trading is first in order to turn to the swing trading. They usually come into the swing trading and then lean back onto the day trading. So that's a really interesting perspective. So let me go ahead and turn the floor to you. We've got a little bit of a nice crowd now and who are eager to hear from you. So let's fire away, and Fausto's going to share.
Sure. Let me share my screen.
Yes. And so Fausto's going to share, his experience in day trading stocks and how, as he said, it can be translated into crypto, it can be translated into, indices, any type of instrument that you're looking to trade. It's all about the philosophy. So I am delighted to hand this over to Fausto.
All right. Well, thank you, Kathy. And I'll probably be talking about, I don't want to waste too much time, everyone. I'll be here for like 30 minutes, but I can tell you this, what I'm about to show you, you're going to see trading is going to really kind of change your life, the way you look at it. I'm not going to change your style, but I'm going to pretty much just show you what we're going to be looking at. So just a quick little disclaimer, like anything else, I'm not going to make any guarantees or promises, works for everyone. Just please be very cautious. You can lose a lot of money in trading, and don't go out there and risk what you really can't afford. Okay. So these couple of things we're going to talk about: how to follow the big money. I'm going to show you basically price action. Like Kathy was just saying, how to follow the smart money. I'm going to talk about timing during the day, which you just asked me earlier. What kind of, even days, even months, there's better days, better months than others. Developing a better round trading, going through that. And obviously the hardest thing to teach is money management. The biggest thing that I think everyone has here is this. When I teach my students, the way I was taught, when I was hired as a market maker, I was never taught how to make money. I was taught how to stop losing it. Because remember, you got hired because you were supposed to be good at it. But what you need to understand when anyone hires you is they want to make sure you don't make those mistakes. So you learn from those mistakes, that's how you become good at it. So it's really about pretty much that. So let's go to the live market really quick. Let's have a little fun first, okay? So I want to bring up the execution system. I want to show you what's going on in the market today. So I don't know if anyone here follows me on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, just like Kathy. We're live every morning. And we have a professional trading room. Let me just show it to you really quick. Here's our trading room right now. Right now, it's about almost 200 people. Right, the morning's usually the busiest time, and then obviously middle of the day gets kind of slow. You could see that those are all our traders here. You could see our chat, our alerts. Right now, we do live order commentary. I'm going to talk about some of the stocks that we traded. What I want to show you is this right here. And these are our alerts right here that, and you're getting this on X, Twitter, and all of them. And right here was our watch list, okay? And I want to show you like stocks that we showed. I'm going to show you like these iceberg orders. Now, I don't know if anyone here was trading and so what happened with the nuclear stocks this morning or the quantum stocks, but let's talk about the stocks that were really good movers this morning. And I did broadcast, which was the nuclear stocks. So the best one I want to bring this up is this one right here, SMR. Okay. So SMR, you could see it ran from $36 this morning. Well, actually, let me bring up the big chart. Kathy says, can you do this towards swing trading? And absolutely. And this is how day tradings turn to swing trades and even turn back into day trades. Obviously, you can hear about the executive order. President Trump is wants to get into nuclear stocks with AI, everything else. Nuclear has been really, really hot lately. So you could see here, SMR ran from about $16. Right now, it's at $42. Okay. Another big nuclear stock was this one that had a really good run this morning was OKLO. This stock back in May was around 25. It's already at $65. And you could see today alone, stock had a huge, huge run. Started on 55, ran to about 68. My God, huge winner. The one I traded this morning, and I still own it right now, is SMR. And I want to show you this really quick. Why did SMR go up? Well, I want to show you something really cool here. Give me a second here. So this is called level 4. All right. And if you look right here on the left-hand side, you see these big orange signs right here, these orange things. If I move out and I scroll over here, I want to bring those up here so you can see them a little bit closer. Okay. Those orders right here down at the bottom is 9:30 this morning where it started. This is called program trading. This is where the smart money that Kathy was just mentioning. And you see how pre-market, there was these orders out there earlier. So when program trading kicks in, all these orders start showing up. And around 9:30 this morning, you had just 38,000 share seller at 23,000. Then you had another order out here for 12,000 at 38.40. Then you had another 21,000 at 39. You had another 20,000 at 40. And as I go up, you'll see 41 and so on. Now, as the day went on, you see that big green ball right there? When you have what makes a resistance levels, and I think everyone could agree, is sellers, okay? It's not a Fibonacci. It's not a MACD. It's not Fausto. It's not Kathy. It's sellers, okay? So program trading is there's an order out there trying to sell. Someone wants to get out. That's what makes resistance. Guess what? That seller got executed. And you know what? That could happen. What happened after that? Stock goes to the next biggest seller, which was right here around 38. Big green ball means transactions were executed. That order got done. Went to the next biggest seller, 39, right? Seller got done for 20,000. How do I know that? Green ball got done. Now we're going up to the next biggest seller, 23,000 at 40. Guess what? That seller got done. What happens? You go to the next seller. Where is he? At 41. Where did the stock had them going? Boom. 41. But what happened here was something different. There's something that we teach you in classes called consolidation. Okay. Now I don't have too much time. I'm going to invite all of you guys to come into the trading room and you're going to see this live, but just briefly going, it's consolidation, consolidated. And around 10:30, seller got done. What happened there? New sellers start showing up around here around 42. And what are we having right now? Consolidation. Okay. So let me bring this back here and let me scroll this up. So now you can start seeing that we got another 32,000 share seller out there. And there is where we're at 11:15 this morning. So did I lose anybody? That's what I'm going to kind of say. Anyone? I lose anyone? Perfect. All right. So now understand something. The way stocks go up and go down is buyers and sellers. That's basically what we see here. Now, let me bring this down here and let me show you and tell you a little bit about myself. And Kathy, kind of brief by it. And then I'm going to show you a way how to get this technology and where to get it. So Forbes wrote a big article about us back in the day, a bunch of kids tormenting Wall Street. I was one of those kids, how I got started. I am actually one of the original day traders that started back in the industry, okay? And what's really cool about this image is you see that monitor right there? That's a 15-inch monitor. If we can make money with a 15-inch monitor, why can't you guys make money with several monitors? You know what I mean? But what's great about this image is look at the screen. Do you see what's on there? It's numbers. Those are orders. That's the smart money that we're looking at. So the big thing that I'm looking forward to teaching all of you, and hopefully you can come and see it live in the market a little bit more, is I'm going to show you how to follow that smart money that's out there, no matter if you're a crypto trader, futures trader, options trader, stock trader, whatever it is. Now, Kathy knows me. I can compete against some of the biggest traders in the world. I beat everyone I went up against around the world. I surround myself with some of the best traders in the industry. Maybe some of those faces might look familiar to you. I rang the closing bell, which was a pretty exciting time. What's nice about this photo is, I don't know if you guys see Steve Forbes. That's him right there. That was actually his first time that he rang the bell too. So I thought that was kind of impressive. I'm also a regular guest. I do a lot of work for NASDAQ. And I'm going to teach you how to trade on the NASDAQ exchange. I don't know if anyone here uses or wants to know, but you're going to get that technology. I don't know if you listen, Kathy and I, we live here in New York. A lot of you notice the financial capital of the world. New York Stock Exchange is going to eventually be a wedding hall. You're going to have bar mitzvahs, wedding hall, whatever it is. Okay. But they got rid of that technology because they gave it to you. You now officially have access to the floor of the exchange. And I'm going to show you how to do that because I just gave you a brief of it. I'm going to show you how to do that, but I'll show you where to get it. So I've been doing this over 30 years. I've trained hundreds of thousands of people around the world. First generation Italian. My dad always taught me, says, hey, listen, you want to be good at something? Surround yourself with people that are really good at it and specifically learn from people that are really bad at it. But listen, it's all about, not about me. This is really about you. Okay. Because Kathy wanted me here, and I know Kathy for many years, and she knows me. I've done presentations with her. She knows what you listeners really need. It's not about finding these stocks, as much as you'll like to. It's not telling you where to get in and out. You need to know when to hit the button. Okay. You all know this. You sell your winners too soon and you're holding your losers too long. Okay. And that's what we need to fix. Now, one of the big things that we teach at Cyber Trading University, and I kind of show you, is not more or less what I'm going to show you about following the smart money, but also where to find these stocks that are moving. A lot of you here are probably stuck on, oh, what's Apple doing? What's Apple doing? Do I trade in options? Do I do this? How about APLD that was up 110% in one day? Okay. How about MULN that was up 500% in one day? Okay. How about MCTR that was up 550% in one day? This is why a lot of people like day trading. Okay. And it doesn't matter where it is now. It's where it was at that moment. And they're there every single day. But how do we find them? And how do we know they're going to continue to go up? I'm going to talk about my 4 tools that we use. The main 4 tools that I was trained, which I want all of you to learn, I'm going to show you where to get these tools, is you probably have 2 of the 4. But the big thing is having a chart system, which we all need charts because we want to know where the stock was in the past. A big percentage gainer because we want to know what's moving for the day, because that's how we know what's going to basically where the action is. And then the 2 things I want to cover is on the 2 bottom. Level 3 and level 4. Now, finding these stocks are very easy. Scanning them. We post them on our X. We post them on our Telegram. We post them on our alerts. We're live every morning on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. You said it, we're there. The issue that a lot of people have is like, well, how do you know out of all those stocks, which one is going to give you the least amount of risk with the high amount of reward? Well, just briefly, just kind of give you a little basic understanding. We look at spreads. We look at volume, volatility on it, because you can't trade every single one of them. There's only probably 3 or 4 on that list that are going to give you the best chance with the least amount of risk out there. So finding them, don't worry about that right now. That's the least of our problems. We'll cover that tomorrow morning when you watch us live, okay? And by the way, like I said, I'm going to invite you all to get how to get there, so don't go anywhere. Like I said, every morning, 9 a.m., we're live. Timing during the day is very important. I don't know if you're watching this you're going to be watching this as a recording later on, whatever, but like most active day traders, we trade the open and we trade the close. You still get action in the middle of the day, but usually that's where the best times are. First hour, last half hour of the close. And you could see like here an example, WRD, stock went from $8 to about $11. And after 10:30, you start retracing. And you see like, well, kind of looks like still had a little volatility there, but a lot of that action is done in the morning. But what is the game plan? The real game plan is following the smart money. That's where it comes down to. Following the big money is where it's at. You see, what I was taught as a trader is that once you think you know something about the market, you're going to lose because it doesn't matter what you people think. It matters what the street thinks. Okay. You can't beat Wall Street, but you could join them. Now, one of the ways how you're going to join them is I want to talk about something which is a very important tool where it's going to give you access to the floor of the exchange. It's called NASDAQ Total View, which is also known as Book Viewer. Okay. Now you can get this with brokerage firms. I'm going to show you where to get it directly through you're going to get it directly through the NASDAQ market. We're not a software company. We don't work for NASDAQ, but I'm going to show you why you're going to need this, and you guys are going to love it. You guys are going to freak out. You're actually going to be so shocked that you were trading without this, that you're going to be like, you can't even live without it. And the thing is, it's not going to change your style. Okay. It's only going to teach you what I just told you earlier. It's going to teach you something called the right of the chart, the smart money. So the way we look at this is this, and it looks very confusing in the beginning, but I'm going to show you 95% of what you're looking at is not necessary. It's going to show you every buyer and every seller in a stock that you're trading. It's going to show you who's going to pay the most, who's going to pay the least, how many shares they want to buy, and how many orders are out there. So let me show you how we kind of utilize this data. Palantir, okay? Palantir, great runner-up. I don't know if you guys have been watching it. Great stock, right? So, but why does it keep going up? What is driving this stock going higher? Well, if you look at Palantir, you could see right here that the stock went from $22, $122, dropped at $116, and went up to $130. Why did it slingshot, this we call a slingshot, from 124, stopped at 116, and went right up to 130? Well, once again, what makes a support level, what all of you look for? Buyers. You see, supports don't equal buyers. Buyers equal support. So there must have been some reason that it picked that number. And that number, if you look right here on the NASDAQ exchange, because NASDAQ basically controls probably 50% of the float of all the stocks in the market, give or take, some even more, maybe 70%. So here you have on what we look for and what we teach you at Cybertrade University is if you see a stock going down, there's only one thing that's going to save you. It's not Schenken. It's not, a Fibonacci. It's not a MACD. It's orders. And I'm looking at orders. I see there's 180,000 shares looking to be bought at 115. Now, is that a lot? Some of you might say it sounds like a lot. You know what's a lot? If everybody's showing you 800 shares, 1,000 shares, 2,000, 180,000, why 180,000? Oh, maybe because there's 63 different orders out there that equal 180,000. It's not 7, it's not 2, it's 63. It's 180,000 shares. You have any idea how much money that is? Let me just do the math. How much is that? 180,000 times $115, talking $20 million worth of stock. Now, this way you realize that they know more than you. Are you putting $20 million into an idea? I don't think so. So why not see what everybody else is doing? And now the other aspect is this. How do you have a game plan where to sell it? Well, did you see where the sellers are on the right of the chart? And the right of the chart is, you got two charts. You got the left and you got the right. The right is over here where you see the NASDAQ book viewer. So I need to see where the sellers are. And if I look down here where the sellers are, there's a lot of sellers, but the only number I care about is the 6-digit one. And the 6-digit is the 160,000. And you know what? If I didn't see him and I didn't know he was out there, this is how you convert a winner to a loser. Because how many of you have been in a position at 67 and all of a sudden now you're down to 61? I mean, that's terrible. That's horrible. You don't want to do that. And these icebergs are out there every day, every stock. If you give me a stock right now, I will find you an iceberg order. And at the end of this presentation, when I show you that, you are going to not get into any position until you find that iceberg order. Because iceberg order is what we call here at Cybertrade University is big block orders. Now, I did a video yesterday that got a lot of views. Okay, I don't know if anyone here is on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, YouTube. But I did a video on Nvidia. By the way, is anyone here subscribed to my YouTube channel? Because I think you should watch this video. Let me just bring it up really quick. Okay, I want to show you this really quick. I like to do a lot of shorts. Okay, that's usually my thing. Let me bring up Instagram. Instagram. Okay, bring up Instagram really quick here. Hold on. And let me show you this video. I want to show you this video. All right, here's our Instagram channel. All right. Let me show you this video right here. Okay. I want you, I don't know if you could listen to it, but just watch this video really quick. Okay, so basically that is what I want to kind of show you. So I want to bring up Nvidia really quick here, and I want to show you something on level 4. Okay. Where's Nvidia? Here's Nvidia. Okay. Look how cool this is. Look how amazing this is. Here's 145. And you could see it here in pre-market. Look at, everybody thought it was going to break. Look what happened when the market opened up at 145. Look at that red line. Look at what's happening. It just doesn't want to break it. Why? Because there's 2.2 million shares out there. Do you guys have any idea how much money that is? Do you have any idea how much money that is? 2.2 million. I don't know. I messed up there. Times $145 a share. Talking over $320 million worth of stock. Now, if you look at Nvidia here on the chart, here's Nvidia. And if I draw a trend line here at 145, you basically could see like, oh my God, in the last year, every time I even got close to it, it went down. Back in June, it did it, almost got there. It came back down to 85. It tried to it stopped over here around 125, but then it went up back in October, November, December, January, February. Now it's doing it right now. So do you want to own Nvidia here? Or do you want to be what happened to everyone else? That's where and why people make mistakes. All right. All right. So hopefully that made sense. I love that one. And they do it on every single stock. So there's Nvidia, big sellers. And then you know what? You got buyers that show up too. You got buyers. I mean, listen, 1.3 million share buyer at 141. You know what I mean? And that's why it goes back up. So these things happen with these stocks, and they break supports and they break resistance levels, but you got to have a game plan. By the way, here's another example. This was a while ago. I did this image, but do you know where the next resistance levels are? Breaks 150, 145. Does anybody know? I'll show you right there. There's a 3.5 million share seller at 150. You see how the levels are every dollar, but the next biggest seller is there? That is called the right of the chart. And let me tell you, I love Nvidia. Some of you be like, oh, it's the greatest company since sliced bread. Yeah, but let someone else break it because it didn't work too well the last several months. All right. Now, one last thing I want to touch upon is I want to talk about Elon Musk. I mean, obviously the big, beautiful bill. You saw what happened with this stock. And, here he goes. Big sell-off on the stock on Tesla. Okay. So listen, if you're a fan of Elon, if you hate the guy, maybe you're happy the stock got crushed. Maybe you don't. You know what I mean? Maybe you do own it long term. But as traders, if we took things personally, me and Kathy would not be in here anymore. If me and Kathy picked a political side or favored our certain child, whatever it may be, we would not be good parents. We would not be good traders. Okay. So these catastrophes make opportunities. And the thing is, how do they go up and go down? Oh, I know I wait down the news. Yeah, but there's always going to be buyers. There's always going to be smart money out there. There's always going to be program trading. There's always going to be someone one step ahead of you. Okay. People pay. I'll give you an example. Brokerage firms pay not millions, hundreds of millions of dollars just to be a half a second faster to do an execution than the next guy. Okay. Meanwhile, you're here like, I can't even think a second, 10, 20 minutes. I can't even see why someone pay hundreds of million dollars just to do an execution a half a second faster. Well, there's a reason behind that. Okay. But right now, that's not important to you. What I'm trying to say to you is that there's a lot of smart money out there and you just need to know what they're doing. Because if you didn't, you'll be chasing. And this is why, when it comes to the smart money, where the orders are, these big block orders. You don't need all this fancy stuff all the time. If you just saw Tesla, why it went down and knew that there was 126,000 share seller out there, which by the way, is that really a big seller? I don't know. Did the order, what's everyone else looking to sell it for? 200? 1,000, 2,000. Yeah, I think, out of every single order out there, 98% of it is worthless. Like I said, the only you care about is the 2%. And the 2% is the biggest one. And the biggest one's got 103 orders out there that make up the 126,000. That's where it comes into play. And you know what? If you didn't see that order and you didn't have that game plan, look what happened over the course of the day with Tesla. It went from 355 all the way down to 344. Like that. Now, don't tell me that you've never been in a situation like that. Don't tell me you're like, damn it, I knew I should have sold it. But like I said earlier, I'll say it 1,000 more times. Did you follow the smart money? Did you see them out there? Did you see the other 100 people out there that were online, and before you actually thought about buying it? A lot of people don't. Now, by the way, does anyone here want this technology? Anybody here want to be able to do? Because if anybody here would like to get Book Viewer and know how to get iceberg orders, let me just give you my email address. Join the chat. Let me just give you if anybody here would like to get that data, could I chat in here? I don't know if I can chat in here. I'm definitely interested. So could I join chat? Connect to YouTube. Let me see if I can just connect it. Yeah, it's just for some reason I'm having a tough time typing it. I'll give you my email address. Hold on, let me give it to you right here. Hold on, just in the meantime, while you guys are waiting there. You could scan this QR code, but let me just give you my email. Make it easier for you. And I'll get you the link for it. Hold on one second. I probably have it here somewhere.
I can post your email address. Which one do you want me to type in?
Just give him the Fausto P at CTU Corp.
CTU Corp.
Yeah, so if they want to get a copy of it, let me just give it to them.
Okay. I'll also post it onto X, since we have a lot of viewers on X. So let me go ahead and drop that right in there.
Yeah. Okay. Let me get this out of here. Let me go back to this one then. All right. Yeah, there you go. There you go. So if you guys want to get that, now, like you good. I'll tell you what I like to do is this. I have 2 videos I want to give you guys. So before you actually go to NASDAQ's website and get it, before you even download it or view it, watch these 2 videos, because one's going to show you how to set up the defaults, and the other one's going to show you exactly how to set it up. Because, and by the way, don't think NASDAQ's going to call you. Believe me, they don't care about you. Listen, they're a $1 trillion company. But what I paid $1,000 a month for, you're paying $15 for. And I think $15 getting access to have a seat on the exchange that people pay millions of dollars for sounds like a pretty good deal. You know what I mean? So definitely go out there and just send me an email on that. And also, by the way, if you do, I'll even give you my book too, How to Beat Market Makers at Their Own Game. So if you send me an email too, I'll give you my book too as a gift. All right. Or you can pay me $47 on Amazon, whatever you like. Let's go into the real markets, have some fun. But before I do that, I don't know if anyone here trades crypto, but I do have Bitcoin up here. And this is really cool because you could see Bitcoin where it's trading also on the orders out there. And you could see Bitcoin has got 134 Bitcoin out here at 11,100. You got another big Bitcoin over here. Let me zoom out a little bit further. You can see you got 200 Bitcoin over here at 100,015. You know, you could work your way down. You got a 460 Bitcoin looking to be sold at 120,000. So you could really, like, when Kathy was asking me, could you use this towards swing trading? Absolutely. Absolutely. You have the game plan out there. But the big thing you have to look at this is there's really no buyers out there. You know where the sellers are, so you should have a game plan if you own it, where to get out. Now, for some of you that don't trade Bitcoin, you could also, what we do here is I don't trade Bitcoin, but technically I do. I play the ETF. So I want to bring up the ETF right here, and it's IBIT. So just to let you know, IBIT is the ETF. IBIT's right here. There we go. So IBIT trades with Bitcoin. Okay. So this is the ETF of BlackRock. So if you want to know how we trade it, if I was actually to look up IBIT, this is the reason why I don't use it on here. IBIT. If I look up IBIT, I'm not going to really see the iceberg orders as well as I would see it. But you see right here, you see where it says 65? That is that 20. That was that big iceberg order right here on Bitcoin. That is the right there, that 400,000. You see how it works side by side? So if anyone here likes to trade ETFs, you can trade them the same way. All right. Now, I don't know, anyone here looking at any stock you guys want me to check out? I don't know if anyone here is in a stock. You want me to check something out? If you put in the chat right there on YouTube or anything. But a couple of stocks that we're trading this morning, just to show you. Here's a stock right here that we're trading in the trading room. If you want to see a really cool day trade, I'll show you one right here. So our traders are looking at this stock right here. ATAI. Does everybody see that right there? ATAI. All right. So ATAI, we're going to bring it up right here. I mean, XTIA, I apologize for that. You could see here that the stock had a really, really good move. And it's really picking up some big steam right here. $4 stock up to $7. It's going higher. Okay. Now, look at it. Look at this thing's flying. Doing unbelievable. Right? So you could see here, they're, let me just move down here, down the bottom. You can see here in our trading room, they're trading it. You can see Josh, one of the instructors. We're also looking at Archer. You can see them right here. We're calling out these trades. You see that Rich is calling it out there. But let's figure out why is it going up? Why is it still continue to go up? Oh, before I go, let me just show you what just happened. Did everybody see what just happened right now? Stock just got halted. I don't know if you ever know what a stock got halted, but you could see the stock went up so fast that it just went from $5.50 up to $7 and it just got halted. Halted usually takes, depending, could be 5 minutes, could be 10 minutes. But let me bring up the stock symbol right here. And let's see what's going on with it. So you can see here that it's kind of hard to see because it got halted. You see this big green ball right there around $5, $6? See that right there? See that big candlestick on the bottom? There was a big seller out there. Now remember, sellers make resistance. But what happens if a seller gets done? Stock goes higher. Just like I showed you here on Nvidia. The only way the stock's going to go higher if the sellers get done. SMR. How's the stock going to go higher? Unless those sellers get done. But eventually, it's not the sellers are going to eventually win, and it's not going to go higher. So this is why you got to have a game plan when it comes to trading. You got to know where those buyers and sellers are. All right. All right. Now I'm almost out of time here. Let me just show everyone here. If anyone wants to join me or actually see me live, like I said, 2 things I want to give you all. You can get my book, and I'll show you where to get it. Just send me an email. I'll be happy to send it to you because I think everyone here is going to realize they're going to really need to see these big orders out there. All right. Look, even like Bitcoin right here. Here's an example of level 4, how there was a 600,000 share order at 110. The stock came down, and listen, that seller could get done, but someone's got to buy it from him. That's what it comes down to it. Like here, big seller got done and the stock goes up, and it goes higher. You can see how much higher it went up. All right. So I don't know if anyone here, if you want to watch, if anyone has their phone, I am going to be doing a live demonstration again tomorrow at 12 o'clock. It's going to be recorded. We're going to talk. So just basically, you can take your phone, you can scan that QR code, or you can type in that number, or just send me an email. I'll get you guys registered, and we'll be happy to do that. So I do classes every week. I'm live every morning. I love doing this. Me and Kathy hate people losing money. We really do. We hate it so much. It's not necessary. At first, it looks bad on us, and everybody thinks I want to blame you. And just like Kathy mentioned earlier, the influencers are out there. We've been dealing with this for a while, but we like to surround ourselves with people that are very good to know what they can do. We can offer all of you, but I'm not looking to change your style or anything else. It's only going to help you move forward when it comes to trading. All right. But any questions, Kathy, or anybody else have any questions?
Yes, if you have any questions, feel free to fire away. I think, Fausto provided us with a lot of very, very valuable information. I'm just checking to see if there's any questions in the X comments. And if you do think of questions after, you can always, as Fausto said, join him tomorrow, or you can post a question onto X and tag him. I'm sure he'll be monitoring those. Otherwise, I think it was a really valuable presentation, and there's a lot to learn from Fausto, a lot more that he can fit in 30 minutes for sure. And, it's all about doing it over and over again. So I think if you're truly interested in trading stocks, and this is true for, for any stock or any instrument that's got good volume, that this is a technique that you really want to learn. So I was really glad that he can share this with my community because, as Nathan and Chop Silva said, there's a lot of very valuable information here.
Yeah. Like I said, it's all about, like you just said, everyone wants to understand and learning more and more about following the smart money. Like I just showed you that stock, XTIA, and you see a stock go from 4 to 7. You want to know what day trading is. And some people, and listen, Kathy, I know a lot of people like, well, these things move too fast. It's not my style. I get it. But you can apply this towards swing trading. It just showed you how it does on Nvidia. You can use it towards Bitcoin. You can use it towards futures also. You know what I mean? You could. I think you can even do it towards Forex. I don't really use the Forex part of it. I just do more equities. I try not to be all jack of all trades. You know what I mean? But you could use it towards options and everything else. It's just an add-on to kind of see something on the right of the chart. If you love charts, you're gonna love seeing orders.
Well, we all love charts, right? So
Yep.
I think you're speaking to the right crowd. All right. Thank you so much, Fausto, for joining me today and sharing your wisdom and expertise. And definitely check out his session tomorrow. And, I hope you enjoy learning from him as much as I do.
Thanks, Kathy, for having me. And thanks, everybody, for listening in. And trade safe.